So this was a very Toa-focused episode. But before that, we had a brief summary on the update with Sheena and how she's been doing ever since her big change. And she's finding a true purpose in life now, which is good, which is great. You know, she has a purpose. She's helping monsters. She's helping people. She's being more friendly and focused, communicative to people and stuff. And that's nice. She even made a new friend she likes to talk about. Now I was giving the report. And then we see Hayate. And we're wondering, why is Hayate's age classified? She has such backing from the church, from that world, and probably have some military strings being pulled thanks to the incidents of season 2. Why is her age classified? Is it classified in order to do what she has to do? And she's the only one that can do it, but however she has to lie about her age in order to do it? That is my theory. Is why it will be classified, unless it's something that only she can do and only she can care about. So their goal is to get rid of this invasive species by the end of the year or within that year, which I seem very impossible. I don't know how that will work out, to be honest with you. So what I'm thinking is that they're probably going to create a branch there, and that branch will be filled with civilians who are recruited into that team, and they'll work things out. That's my only idea that I can think of. Because I don't see them really clearing this out within a year. Like I said in my last video, getting rid of an entire species that not only is multiple species, by the way, through sky, water, and land, is damn near impossible. They have eggs, they come back, they grow, they hide, they adapt. Like, I don't think it's going to be that easy to get rid of it unless they create some kind of plot sequence. Like I said, my only outcome I see for this is that they create a branch that stays on that planet and they defend for themselves to make things better. That is my only suggestion that I can think of. I can't think of anything else so far. Then they also briefly mention the red tape. How it's impossible to do what they need to do in order to really focus on the people monsters, the ones who are eating other people, and they're also trafficking drugs. They don't have jurisdiction over that. Like I was also saying in the last video, there are things they cannot do under legal regulations, and because of that, they seem to be insufficient to others. Like, yeah, you're getting rid of the creatures, which is nice. You're doing a good cleanup of the creatures. But however, there's an underbelly that's happening, and they can't do nothing about it. And that's what comes to vigilantes, the other squad, the Daboli hunters, they call themselves. A group of girls that seem to be rescued by Toa herself, and they all owe her a debt they see in their eyes. Even though Toa doesn't want them to keep riding along, because she believes that eventually they'll come to the point of no return, and they might not all make it back alive. That's what she believes. So she wants them to quit while they're ahead. But you know how these things go. Friends forever, and stuff like that. It's always like that. So anyways, what I'm expecting here is that hopefully it won't be a bad end, but we got to see some flashback of Toa herself. She has no true memories of what she had before she was in the prison. All she knows is that she was a lab rat. She was given drugs, experimented on. Her 2 things she needed to do. Live out the process of the ejections and show results. Those are only 2 reasons of living in that lab, and that was it. So they would get injected, they would be given food, and then they had to see if they can outlive the ejection, survive it, and stuff. Going through painful, and I mean painful, symptoms of those drugs. And those who made it had to show results. show results how powerful they can be. And you see the two people up there who are the ones possible of the ones that are causing the full-on experiment. So I'm guessing is they're testing out the drug. They're trying to advance it. Then they make a display. They show what the drug can do as a display to the viewers, the buyers. The buyers are interested and they'll start bidding at the highest order by saying, I bid this, I want this. And then they sell off to the highest bidder. And then the rest of the scraps they give off to people to feed on and stuff like that. And they smuggle the drugs to other people. That's how they make their profit. Their drug empire. But this is probably the most effed up drug empire I've ever seen in anime ever. Like, dang. I think this is the darkest flashback that I've ever seen in Nanoha ever. And I've seen some pretty massive flashbacks in Nanoha. But this is probably the worst one. Like I said, they're really trying to go for the darkness in this series right now. And it's bonkers. But I'm all here for it. But anyways, we see Toa meet Setsuna. You know, Setsuna was probably the best user at the moment, to the point that she was able to defeat Toa. And Toa was supposed to be sold off for a meal. That's how worth it she was to them. She was just a meal to be sold off to. But luckily for fate, the truck got flipped. And she was rescued by two kind hunters. And the hunters took her in. It was a married couple. And they took her in. And they adopted her. They knew what she was. She didn't need to hide what she was from them. They accepted her anyways. And wanted her to live a normal life. Which is completely different from what Tetsuna and Sheena went through. Tetsuna hid what she was. Or she probably didn't remember. I'm trying to recall that she didn't remember, but either way, it was completely different, but yet at the same time. So it was all identical. And because of that, we see that reflection, these two going through different things, but where the Daiboli survived and one where the humans survived. In Sheena's case, it was the humans that died, and she lived, having a purpose of slaying the Daiboli, but the people mainly, not the creatures. Sheena is a human who absorbed her sister and became a Daiboli and hunts the creatures, while Toa is a Daiboli who hunts the humans who choose to become Daiboli and are also using the drugs in a way. That's a reflection of a mirror. Two sides of the same coin, I say. One, it reminds me of Ultimate Spider-Man. Remember the Ultimate Spider-Man video game? You play as Spider-Man most of the time at day, and then most of the time at night you play as Venom and stuff. That reminds me of two sides of the same coin. Very interesting. I love that game. I really do. I have it on my Steam Deck, actually. Well, anyways, her parents died during that airport incident. And her parents died by Setsuna herself. So things went full circle. Because the thing is that Toa never forgot about that girl that set her on fire. And she never resented her for it. Because she was always saying she's sorry all the time. And even then, she's still apologizing. So, but either the point is this. That girl, Setsuna, at the time, she was even a disposable object. She was just used as a display to show the buyers how powerful the drug can get. And she was set off, be used as a bomb, went full Infamous on them. You know, the game Infamous, you know, the display, the ray spear blew up and everything and caused a whole chunk of a city to be destroyed and stuff. That's what it reminds me of right there. These game references. But anyways, she took her down, but somehow still survived that, because in the experiments, you can take off limbs and organs, and they'll just regrow back. So it's really hard to kill those special kind of Daiboli. You have to, I guess, probably destroy their core, or destroy them all at once, or you absorb them. and stuff like that. But anyways, when I'm looking at the arm in Toa, she reminds me of Velvet Crow from Tales of Basura, one of my favorite Tales game, Tales of Basura, and stuff. That she reminds me of. She has the demon arm, and she absorbs other Dibole to get stronger and stuff. It's Velvet Crow. That's what it is. It's Velvet freaking Crow. Another game reference, I'm saying. But anyways, she now, after that incident, she didn't hate her as I thought she would. I thought she would hate Setsuna, but she didn't. She understood it. She resented what happened, but she didn't hate her. And she even told her that it's not her fault that she killed her. But Setsuna survived. But when she saw the flame Dibole again, she was upset, saying, "Why is it staying back? I thought I killed her to rest her soul in peace." So she's not after her because of hatefulness or vengeance, as I think, but more as if it's to put her back to sleep. A girl like her shouldn't be walking around. She should be resting in peace after all the suffering she went through. So that's what it is. I'm now having a clearer understanding of Toa in a way. She's not this full-on dark, edgy lord like Batman or anything. She still has peace of mind. She still can hang out with the people. She's kind to others. She can make friends and socialize. So it's just that she shows no mercy to those that use those drugs at all because she wants to clear it out no matter what. It's not going to be easy, especially if this thing goes on, especially if one of the buyers is the government itself. Good luck exposing them. Heck, our government gets exposed all the time for doing terrible things, and nothing really ever happens to them. I'm just saying. But anyways, all around, I enjoyed this episode. It was a nice little break, a little breather, for us to understand this character more than the last one, Sheena herself. Except for hers in the last 50 minutes, which kind of sucks. It would have been nice if we got a longer story, but hers wouldn't need to be that long for us to understand Toa's story. She's a kind girl, but she knows how to leave her work and her profession separated, her and her emotions and stuff. She has what she needs to do in order. And I don't think she expects to really survive this when it's all said and done in her mind and stuff like that. She's going through this and she must go through it alone at the end of it, and she'll probably die doing it. So that's what I'm seeing it. She's going to be one of those marauder vigilantes, I'm guessing. So like that. But anyways, all around, I'm liking this two-side kind of thing. Now, one last thing I want to talk about is with Sheena. Another thing when it comes to Sheena and Nanaha's expectations of her. Like I said in the beginning, Sheena is supposed to be probably going to be the leader of this project that they're creating, where when they leave the planet, they will have Sheena as the leader, holding out with the recruits and finding out fresh the creatures. It's like one of those things where you have these people who come from the outside of the world and they assist the people of that world. They're not allowed to save the world, but they're allowed to assist it. But they can't save the world itself. Some sort of regulations of interference or something like that. It has to be someone from that planet to save the world, or else it will be meaningless. It reminds me of one of those stories I used to read or play a lot in video games and books and stuff, which I do understand, It's like, what's the meaning of having an outside force save the world? People just see it as some type of divine entity that they'll probably pray to. But they see it as someone else from their planet saving that world. They'll still see them as a hero, but not as an entity. Yeah, it's very interesting. But anyways, I enjoyed this episode. A more insight to the characters and their dynamics and how we'll sooner or later probably collide. Who knows will that happen? Probably mid-season. We'll have to wait and see. Well, anyway, that's all I got for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, of course. Hit that bell icon. This has the Madcrownxox anime. Signing out.